How I would learn to code if I could start again. Learning to code has been one of the most rewarding and impactful things I've done in my career. It has changed the way I think. It has given me tons of confidence. And it's also improved, frankly, my employability within the tech industry. But I'm no child's programming prodigy. I think I learned to code maybe when I was 20 years old. And when I started, I sucked. But learning to code has really enabled me. It helped me get a job at Amazon as a software engineer. It helped me later start a company. I actually was doing a programming tutorial, a project for my girlfriend to schedule our date nights. And it became the underlying technology of a company I co-founded, serving billions of transactions to banks. So starting small with coding and learning can have such outsized impacts later on. But it really isn't that hard. And in this video, I'd love to share 4 principles in my journey that has helped me learn to code, going from 0 to knowing at least somewhat. But I often feel that a lot of typical programming and coding and learning to coding advice isn't the main reason of why people haven't learned to code. And so I'd love to share these 4 principles with you, and hopefully this is something helpful. The first principle of learning to code is create an objective. You won't learn to code unless there's a reason to learn to code. And you want to sign up to a hackathon. A hackathon is a 24-hour to 48-hour event where you go into groups of people. You go into this big auditorium. Sometimes it's a big event. There's tons of free pizza and drinks and stuff. It's a lot of fun. But you go into teams and groups, and the objective is that there's prizes at the end. You have 1 to 2 days, 24 to 48 hours. You can even sleep there to build a project. And at the end of the 24 to 48 hours, judges rank the projects, and you're able to win prizes. And hackathons are the equivalent of marathons to running. If you want to become good at coding, you need to create an inertia and a reason to code. Just like setting a marathon 3 to 6 months down the line, set a hackathon date. Look up either hackathons in your area, Major League Hacking, which organizes a lot of hackathons, or Cerebral Valley, which organizes a lot of AI hackathons. And look at one 3 to 6 months down the line in your local area or slightly apart. And use this just as you would a marathon to plan out 3 to 6 months where you say, yes or yes, I'm going to attend this event. And by this event, I'm going to know how to code so I can build something and I don't become embarrassed in the process. Being embarrassed at hackathons is how I learned to code. I signed up for a hackathon when I was 20 years old with some friends. And frankly, I was the worst one in the group. I ended up building the presentation, but in those 24 hours, the inertia of having to learn to code to not be embarrassed in front of friends, but also the inertia following that hackathon and going into another one and proving that I could do it, ended up in me signing up to a total of 13 or 14 hackathons along the way. And I truly think that probably the biggest impact towards my coding abilities and learning has been signing up to hackathons, a reason to learn to code. That inertia is the only reason behind why I've built projects, and the confidence post hackathons is why I've been even able to build other things. So sign up to a hackathon, look at a date 3 to 6 months down the line, commit, and work backwards from it. Now, the second principle is once you have a deadline, you want to sculpt your environment. You're the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And frankly, while you have a target, if your local community is not there to support you with a similar ambition, it's going to be hard to make this into a consistent thing. And that's why you want to do 2 things, which is go to events and meet nerdy people that are into technology and coding. You want to surround yourself with them. And second of all, start following YouTubers, Instagrams, just Google it and start following people that are tech related and talk about coding. You really want your environment to really be a support here in helping you learn more about programming, but also support this as something that's cool to learn. right? If you create both the target and objective through a hackathon and an environment around you that will not only support you to the hackathon, but further and after that create lasting friendships and relationships that have these mutual goals, is how you're going to create a perfect ecosystem and echo chamber for you to actually be good at coding. So people typically start with the tutorials, etc. You need a reason to code, and you need a community to be able to code. Third of all, isn't even the tutorials, it's building a habit. The third principle is schedule 30 minutes a day, preferably first thing in the morning, towards just doing programming. Now, you can start off with the typical HackerRank tutorials, and I'd highly recommend doing Python. Python I covered in another video. I consider the international language of the programming world. It's one of the most enabling and easy to learn programming languages there is, because you can use it for machine learning, for data science, for full stack applications, for backend. Learn Python if you're going to learn a language. And you want to start off with either HackerRank or Code Academy, just 30 minutes a day consistently doing it. And your goal is not to become good, it's to have coding become a habit. You want 30 minutes a day to just dedicate to improving, getting better at your craft. So with those three things, you want to create an objective through the hackathon. You want to create an environment around you that supports you in becoming a programmer. And third of all, you want to create a habit that allows you to have consistency and drive it. And fourth of all, which is one of the key ones that you'll hear, is you want to start building side projects. Build things that prove to you and give you autonomy to show that not only can you follow tutorials and follow lessons, but you can actually build stuff yourself. Because in the hackathon and in the wild, you're going to have to build stuff yourself. In a programming job, you're going to have to build stuff yourself. In a coding interview, you're going to have to build stuff yourself. Start building side projects. And the more that you can build side projects for other people, so-called selfless side projects, the better. Side projects are mini hackathons in my mind. If you start building things that provide value to yourself, is how you're going to start building confidence. But moreover, you're going to start to be impressed with the things that you build. And more over time, you're going to get ideas and know things that can help you then within the hackathon in building things. Treat the side projects as mini hackathons in anticipation for the event. Now that you've built that ecosystem, you should be ready. 3 to 6 months. Plan it backwards. You should be ready for the hackathon. Hopefully you enjoy it. It's going to be one of the coolest experiences. And one thing that I noticed personally is that those 24 to 48 hours within the hackathon, the pressure, the competitiveness, the environment of your team competing with the others, in those 24 to 48 hours, I learn more than I do in maybe 3 months of doing side projects and tutorials. It's such a great environment to learn, where you have other people that bring good ideas, that are working on other things. It gives you an incentive to build and learn. And I think that's what's missing in a lot of these different tutorials, is you really want to look at building the right environments and incentives to become good at coding, apart from the frameworks and actual tutorials. So those are my 4 steps and principles of how I would learn to code if I could start again. Hopefully that helps. Please stay tuned to the next videos, and thanks so much for watching.